You're going to see an antique Chinese Dadao. Dadao literally means or translates into big knife in Chinese. Zdao translates to knife, indicating the single-edged nature of the sword. It has a wide, heavy single-edged blade, a ring pommel, and a long handle. It was used by both civilians and military forces. Most examples are from the 19th and early 20th century, most surviving examples. This example you see has a heavy and a distinct chopping blade, so it's a chopping sword, and it has a good steel blade. Not all of them have such a good quality blade. The blade has a continuing tang which goes to the pommel ring. It has a S-shaped guard made of steel. As you can see, it has also inlays made of copper, which is like a rounded inlay. The S-shaped guard is made of steel. Also, the pommel ring is made of steel, and the scabbard is a later addition made of leather, and as I said, was added to the weapon later. The 29th Army of the Chinese Nationalist Army, actually, fighting against the Japanese soldiers and invaders during the World War II period, made Dadao, this type of sword, famous. The early development and adoption of the Dadao, we should say that 20th century examples of these weapons are quite common, but on the other hand, very few examples can be reliably dated to the early Qing dynasty. It's actually a strange phenomenon, as Qing military regulations dictated that a number of these swords should be issued to every unit, but evidently they did not survive in big numbers. There are different opinions regarding the origin of this type of sword. One theory says that the modern 20th century Dadao is actually a revival or a resurrection of a classic Ming era weapon. The second theory says that Dadao is basically an enlarged and modified farm tool. The third one suggests that the Qing era civilian Dadao is really a modified polearm. Dadao was also used as an instrument of police control in late imperial and republican China. We have copies of the official regulations governing weapons bought by the Qing government for the imperial armies. Uh, while the single-handed saber was surely back then the preferred weapon, we have enough period choppers which survived to also attest their usage in the Qing army. And period photographs gives us a good visual record of how these swords were actually being used by the end of the Qing dynasty. So they used it in law enforcement. Look at the blade of this weapon, and look, it has also fullers along the weapon, which you can clearly see, and it has also a back edge. It's quite a good and really strong weapon, two-handed heavy weapon, and used for chopping down. And as you can see, it has tangs securing, excuse me, the pins, which there's pins which secure the tank to the handle, and you have these fullers. The two, one is wider, close to the back of the blade, one is wider, and the other one, which runs parallel, which is the shorter one, is a narrow fuller. You can see it on the other side. It has a, most probably, look at the edge. It's a hardened edge, which most probably is also sandwiched on this example. As I said, this is a very good example and has a good quality. Well, Thank you for visiting our channel again, and we are going to show you more weapons, and we wish you a nice day. I mean, more weapons from different private collections, and see you soon.